Maybe it's time to inject a little bit of old guy wisdom, observation, and reality into what's happening to the carnivore community, especially here on YouTube. I don't like the direction that things are going lately. We're following the same pattern that we humans seem to follow on everything, every issue. That pattern is the disappearance of middle ground and compromise in the name of reality. And this applies to everything. Have you noticed lately that the middle is constantly being pulled to one of the two extremes? The arguments get more forceful. The sales pitches for their particular side of the argument get more, rather than talking about the benefits of their side, they just lean towards demonizing the other side. In the 2+ years I've been doing carnivore YouTube, it dawned on me that the change that I'm seeing is just so dramatic and is accounting for the turmoil in our community right now. The differing of opinions, the reaction videos, the arguing. And what does that leave somebody who either is new to the community or somebody that starts to doubt the validity of the side they're on and maybe starts looking at the other side? If you don't think this is actually happening and you don't believe the premise, then we're through. Have a nice day. Take the rest of the day off. But if you kind of notice that this is happening in our community, the same way it's happened in the community of politics, where there's no compromise anymore. Everybody has become so rigid in their commitment, in their thinking, that the government goes into the longest shutdown in the history of the world. We can't keep going this way because, unfortunately, and inevitably, nothing ever gets solved until one side annihilates the other, either literally or figuratively. Our country is reaching the point where it cannot settle down, just get reasonable, without a civil war. And that's becoming inevitable. So let's narrow it down to what I'm noticing in the carnivore community. First of all, what is a strict carnivore? We don't even have a definition of that, but we're fighting over it. We're lauding it over people. You drink coffee? Well, you're not a strict carnivore. Well, shut the hell up. Show me where strict carnivore is defined. Like in everything else in life, and I use the word that people are going to get tired of hearing from me, there is a spectrum. In this case, there's a spectrum of need to be a meat, salt, and water only person or a Mediterranean diet person, and we agree on less and less. And really the only thing we seem to agree on across the board is that we need to avoid a few things that didn't exist a few hundred years ago, and the logic and the reasoning is correct. And the damage done from these few things, like ultra-processed foods, seed oils, is evident. And even with all that knowledge and all that proof, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. up there in Washington trying to make America healthy again, none of it has caught on. And I haven't seen one box of any of these ultra-processed junk products being removed from store shelves. So that's not working. And we're getting more and more divided. In the carnivore community, it seems like more and more people are tending towards moderation a little bit. And I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think anybody should be an extremist or a radical in anything in life. So the battle rages, and people are taking sides. And it's not pretty. The sad part is the number of people we might be helping are fewer and fewer. And the number of confused people running around like chickens with their head cut off are starting to fill the room. They know they have a problem, but they don't know where to turn for the answer. People we've listened to for years are changing their mind about the need to determine where on this spectrum of moderation you need to be. So maybe it's time for another new term, the moderation spectrum. I haven't gotten too far with the carb addiction spectrum yet as a novel idea that's just reality described. And these things all interrelate. And the one message that I think needs to rise to the top of all this nonsense hinges on the fact that everybody is different in each and all of these different spectrums, from carb addiction to their favorite color, and needs to realize that what's right for them is not something they can go out and recommend to anybody else who hasn't come to it and tailored it to their own individual idiosyncrasies, biology, and physiology. If not for all the choices we had, it'd be simple. It was simple for the caveman. His choice was, well, we got animals to eat, and we got grubby, sour-tasting fruits and plants that we have to work for. And basically, it wasn't a choice between the two. It was, which one do we have at the present time? Today, you can't even decide what flavor of ice cream you want when you walk into a Baskin Robbins. You stand there paralyzed. Each one of us is trying to help people give up the poisons, and we always seem to take our advice to extremes. My advice has always been geared to severe carbohydrate addicts. And I say, if you're a severe carbohydrate addict, you need to abstain, because that's the only way you can start to recover from addiction. My advice doesn't apply to anybody who is not a severe carbohydrate addict, because a moderate carbohydrate addict can live a perfectly normal, healthy life, letting his normal physiology detoxify whatever plant toxins he might get, follow simple rules about preparing these plants, and join the party and have dinner with the family, and don't punish yourself because you put a little garlic salt on something. Have an occasional dessert, as long as you don't head back for a second, third, fourth helping, and tomorrow you're back in the sugar bowl. That's the carb addiction spectrum. Nobody wants to take it seriously. This is kind of a, what are we doing here? Why are we wasting this time? Why do we want to be coaches? We can't coach people unless they're just like us. Any teacher you listen to is going to teach you that the reality is what he experiences. And if he's not an addict, he doesn't consider it. Nobody's wrong. We're all just on different spectrums. Maybe the best advice we can give new people is first to talk about reality. Talk about the differences in us. Talk about why some people can do something and stay healthy and other people are going to kill themselves. Why some people can't eat fiber because they get terrible inflammatory bowel diseases and other people can't. Some people can drink milk and do great with dairy products. Other people can't. Some people are so allergic to peanuts that they'll die in a few minutes, and other people aren't. There are hundreds of thousands of different spectrums at play at the same time, which means that there's no one-size-fits-all advice. We got to stop answering the questions without knowing the person who's asking. Because an answer based on the spectrums that we fall on giving this advice, the odds of them lining up with the questioner's spectrums is 1 billion to 1. We got to talk more in generalities. Make people understand that the only way to fix this for them is to learn themselves honestly first, and then focus on those things that they found out which will make the most impact. For example, if you found out you're a flaming carb addict like me, then you got to do the only thing that I ever could do in my entire life. Completely and totally avoid sugar and come up with techniques to make that easy to do and make life fun again. So you're not being hounded all the time. Not be envious of those people who can eat the stuff that you don't sit well with your position on any of these spectrums. And stop fighting. Stop fighting about it. Stop feeling that any one of these positions, no matter where you exist, is superior to anybody else's. And because you can do something that the other guy can't, it's nothing to brag about. It's nothing to feel superior about. It's nothing to look down your nose about. And yet that's just the way we are. I don't know why you can't stop drinking alcohol. I have no problem. I have more willpower than you. I'm stronger than you. You're just weak. Quit complaining. That's what we hear from everybody. That's nonsense. That's destructive. That's pulling us further and further apart. And pretty soon, if things keep going the way they're going, hunker down. The great carnivore vegan war of 2026 is about to start. That's my prophecy for all of us if we keep going in this direction and stop being tight-ass, strict, anal, how else can I put this, about how we approach trying to help people. That's, I don't know if it qualifies as a rant, but that's my reality for the day and why I'm getting tired and question every day about whether I want to continue playing this silly game with all of these other silly people who have so far lost sight of reality and truth that they're becoming mortal enemies, and they don't even know why. That's all for me today. So I hope that maybe I've struck a chord here. And if not, you don't get it, you think I'm wrong, well, see ya. Take the rest of the day off. And the one thing I can pretty well say universally is, it couldn't hurt you, is no matter what part or percentage of your diet it makes up, you can never go wrong by eating meat.